and 1. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Thursday. Today is Thursday, January 20th, 2022. That's Thursday, January 20th, 2022. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Thursday, January 20th, 2022. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. And hey, I got to ask you a question real quick. Lean in. Can you feel it? Do you feel it slipping away from you? Time, right? This thing called time. Some of you are probably like, January 20th already? Like, time is so crazy, right? This abstract, non-tangible, ever depreciating asset that's more valuable than gold, but less predictable than cryptocurrency, right? I mean, a series of seconds that are ticking away, ultimately turning into minutes. Those minutes, of course, then turning into hours, and then days, and then weeks. Never knowing if this second will ultimately be your last. And yet, at the same time, almost unconsciously assuming that you're going to live forever. Tick tock. Tick tock. Oh, I know. I can do all of that tomorrow, right? Like that book I've been wanting to write. I'll get to that tomorrow. That exercise routine that I know I need to implement. I can do that tomorrow. Or the time with the kids, not today. We'll do it tomorrow. That business you're going to build, that dream that you've been aspiring towards, I can do that tomorrow, we say. Well, there was a guy on April 3rd, 1968. And there were some things that he said he would do tomorrow. And this is what happened.
Direct from our newsroom in Washington, in color, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite and Russ Hodge in Memphis, Tennessee, Dan Rather in New York, Bernard Kalb in Saigon, Marvin Kalb in Wellington, New Zealand, and Bert Quint in Quezon, Son, South Vietnam.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee. Police have issued an all-points bulletin for a well-dressed young white man seen running from the scene. Officers also reportedly chased and fired on a radio-equipped car containing 2 white men. Dr. King was standing on the balcony of a second-floor hotel room tonight when, according to a companion, a shot was fired from across the street. In the friend's words, the bullet exploded in his face. Police, who have been keeping a close watch over the Nobel Peace Prize winner because of Memphis' turbulent racial situation, were on the scene almost immediately. They rushed the 39-year-old Negro leader to a hospital where he died of a bullet wound in the neck. Police said they found a high-powered hunting rifle about a block from the hotel, but it was not immediately identified as the murder weapon. Mayor Henry Loeb has reinstated the dusk-to-dawn curfew he imposed on the city last week when a march led by Dr. King erupted in violence. Governor Buford Ellington has called out 4,000 National Guardsmen. And police report that the murder has touched off sporadic acts of violence in a Negro section of the city. In a nationwide television address, President Johnson expressed the nation's shock.
America is shocked and saddened by the brutal slaying tonight of Dr. Martin Luther King. I ask every citizen to reject the blind violence that has struck Dr. King, who lived by nonviolence.
Dr. King had returned to Memphis only yesterday, determined to prove that he could lead a peaceful mass march in support of striking sanitation workers, most of whom are Negroes. Dr. King had this to say last night about the situation in Memphis.
Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for right.
There was shock in Harlem tonight when word of Dr. King's murder reached the nation's largest Negro community. Men, women, and children poured into the streets. They appeared dazed. Many were crying. A young Negro said Dr. King didn't really have to go back to Memphis. Maybe he wanted to prove something.
Listen, my friend, tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday is gone forever. All we have is this incredible, incredible thing called today. Let's dance. Ooh, a little bit of shift there, huh? Y'all are like, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. He took me over here. Now he's bringing me back over here. He's got me all over the place this morning. That's how we roll here on hashtag Rise and Grind. For those of you that know and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes for you to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. So if you're over there on YouTube, share it out. LinkedIn, do me a huge favor. You, yes, I'm talking to you on LinkedIn right here, right now. Hit the share button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Facebook peeps, you know what to do. Share it out, tag a friend. And of course, over on Clubhouse, hit that little recycle button in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. That'll share this out into the hallways, and you can also hit the plus sign and invite some people in. I would greatly appreciate that. Now listen, if you're in bed right now, I'm going to need you to get up. If you're out there on a run, I'm going to need you to run a little harder. If you're working out, I'm going to need you to increase the weight. Okay? I'm going to need you to increase the weight. And then this is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. So whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, whether you're wherever you're at, connect with me this morning and say what's up. Fair enough? Good morning, Mariana Thomas. Great to see you. What's up, Vicki Everett? How are you? Lane Simmons. Good morning. The Brown Sugar Cafe is up in here this morning. Lady Bird. Great to see you this morning. What's up, Christina, over there on YouTube? Gloria Bond is up in here this morning. We've got the Dr. Zakaya over there on LinkedIn. Great to see you. What's up, Kim Fair? How you doing, Marcus Ellis? Shared times 3. Abundant Health Services over on YouTube is here. Rita McGuire on LinkedIn. How you doing, Beverly Richardson over on Facebook? Marilyn Wilkin is here. She's on Facebook as well. Clarissa Bryant is on Facebook. Janelle Griego, I love it. Vicki Everett, I already said hi to you. I'll say hi again. What's up, Tim Hunt over there on Facebook as well. Angeline Moore is in the building. Danielle Settles. Over on Clubhouse, of course, we got Frank in the building. Adi is in the building. Samira is here. How you doing, Sol Salcido? Great to see you. Cindy is up in here. How you doing, Kai? Great profile pic. I see the doctor is in the building. I see Suki is in the building. I see Michael. I see Norman. I see Armando is up in here this morning. Navia is here today. My friend Iffy from across the pond is up in here this morning as well. I love it. Dora Maria is in the building. Gene Stafford, I am so grateful that you chose to spend your morning with me. Absolutely means the world to me. And we have an incredible show set up for you today. We've got Sara. Sara Noll is going to be here in just a little bit as one of our interview guests. And I can't wait to introduce you to her. That's Sara Noll Wilson. We've also got Samantha Clemons as our musical guest. She's going to be bringing that to you today. So super excited to introduce you to her. And before we dive in too far, I do want to remind you, if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the Morning 5 ebook. This is 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. This is something that we all do together in this community. So make sure you download the Morning 5 ebooks. You can go to themorning5.com. That's themorning5.com. You can download your free copy of that. All right? On that note, let's dive in.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed.
$39 years. That's what Martin Luther King got. He got 39 years. And in those 39 years, he used his life to make an impact, a multi-generational impact that completely shifted the landscape of America today. At the end of those 39 years, some say that Martin Luther King predicted or maybe even prophesied his own death. And so I wanted to share that with you today. This is Mr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King's Jr., his very last speech in Memphis, Tennessee, the night before he was assassinated.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
His final rally cry, right? his very last shove before he went out. Dr. Martin Luther King had this burning desire to inspire. He said, hey, we will get there. Don't give up. Don't fall back. I might be gone, but ultimately you don't need me. He said, ultimately you don't need me. No, we need you. Powerful, powerful, powerful words. Incredibly profound. Extremely impactful. And I share it with you today because I want to ask you, what's your rally cry? What's your shove? What's your push? How do you intend to inspire and make that multi-generational impact? What is it that you are willing to die for? Dr. Martin Luther King did not need to be in Memphis, Tennessee that night. They knew there was strife. He had actually gotten stabbed about a week earlier. He had gotten stabbed by a woman within inches of his life. They said if he would have sneezed, he would have died. He didn't have to be there. He chose to be there. Whose life will you make a positive impact on? You see, the truth of the matter is, we need you. We do. We need you. See, you're this child of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And as that, you are my brother or you are my sister. And you play a role, a crucial and integral role. You see, when you step into the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be, it makes an impact. Makes an impact on your friends, on your family members, on your coworkers. Every decision you make. I mean, you showing up here today has made an impact on me. And see, I absolutely stinking love you for it. I do. If nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. My question is, do you value yourself as much as I value you? Do you understand the impact that you are making on this planet? And have you determined what it is that you're willing to die for? You see, life, this ticking clock, tick tock, is not a solo sport. It was never meant to be a solo sport. It's one where we rise together. As a matter of fact, I opened up my Morning 5 planner today, which, by the way, we finally got back in. So everybody that's ordered one since December 13th, your planners are all in the mail. My wife sent them out yesterday, and we have about 80 more in stock. So if you haven't got one yet, you can go ahead and get one. But I opened up my Morning 5 planner this morning, and there was a quote. And the quote was submitted by one of our Rise and Grind members. It was submitted by Ava Booty. And it says this: what we can't do alone, we can do together. We need you, my friend. They need you. Continue to step into your greatness. Continue to rise and grind. This is Breakfast with Champions, Millionaire Breakfast Club, your opportunity to get a seat at the table. And check it out, man. Breakfast with Champions is everywhere nowadays. That's right. We've got the podcast. We're on places like Wisdom and Fireside. We're going to Green Room, and we've got YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Wherever you can join us, we would love for you to come get a seat at the table. Become the champion you know you are inside with Breakfast with Champions. Well, hello, my friends. How are all of you? I've got with me today Mrs. Sara McCord in the building. Lolita Walker is here as well. Marvin Reid in the building from London. And a special guest Ramon Array sitting in for Scott Simons today. Now, I'm just now looking at the chat. You guys are saying there's a problem. What type of problem do we got going on here?
I believe the feeds of Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube could be down, at least on my end, but we'll see what Marvin and Lolita and Sarah say, but I believe they're down, but I do hear it on Clubhouse.
You know, whenever Glenn really wants to shake the world with his message, something happens to the live feeds across all platforms. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that over the past year, but that means this episode is going to be so powerful. I already know. That's what it means. That's what it means.
Exactly. Glenn's breaking the internet.
He does it not infrequently.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm still seeing...
Absolutely.
I still see comments coming in from Facebook and YouTube, but it says offline. I don't know what's going on. The people are commenting on Facebook that it's not working, but yet they're still commenting on Facebook. But yeah, you're spot on, Sarah. Anytime, it's called spiritual warfare is really what it's called. And anytime, there's a message that's really going to shake things up, everyone needs to understand there's a battle going on at all times, folks. There is a battle for good and evil. It is real. It exists. And just as much as we will fight to get out the good news, like my man Ramon brings to us every week, there are other sides that will fight to keep you small, to keep you down. It will happen. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to keep going on here. We are recording this, of course, so we'll be able to push it out. We are live over on Clubhouse, of course, so we'll be able to push it out. I'll try to relink the stream here in just a second. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to toss it over to...
what Sarah said, time is so short. Time is so short. And I think, Sarah, you asked, do people know what's going to happen after they do it, like in the moment? I don't know, Sarah. When I think of Captain Sully, the guy who landed the plane on the Hudson, I think he just operated instinctively. I don't know if he knew it would happen afterwards. So that's my 2 cents on this, but it's good to be here to represent Scott Simons, the Virginia Hillbilly. Great to be here.
Well, you're doing a great job of that. You always do, Ramon. And yeah, like there's definitely like a sixth sense or there's way more. What do they teach us when we're kids? That there's 5 senses, but I think we all know there's way more than 5, and there's so many that we don't understand, right? And this ability to sense impending good things and bad things, right? This ability to sense those things, I think, is one of those interesting characteristics of humans. So I'm 100% with you there. I believe, so the whole thing shut down on me, and so I had to bring the whole thing back up. I heard most of the insightful things that Sara McCord was sharing, and then also Lolita right there. We are back up and live streaming again, so we should be live on all of the platforms at this point. I apologize to our Clubhouse users who got a little moment of silence there. Didn't mean to do that. But if we can continue on with this conversation, I think we're still good on time. Candice, I see Samantha. You don't see Samantha? She's playing her guitar right now. I see her in the green room. So if we're still good, I think we can still stay on time. I think. Where are we at? Let me look. We're going to good news with Ramon in 2 minutes. Okay, we're good then. We're good on time. So Marvin, did you have anything to share from this morning?
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah,
as I'm coming back in. Can you hear me okay? Fantastic. Excellent. No, look, I think I touched on this before, Glenn, regarding the video. I think, we're having some technical difficulties today, but for anyone that hasn't sort of tapped into the show, if you've just been listening on Clubhouse and haven't been catching the streams, these Martin Luther King videos are incredible. Like literally, it is an absolute game changer. There's so many of the speeches and the conversations I've heard before, but I haven't actually seen the videos, and I just want to, I can't articulate enough how much of a difference it makes to the impact of what he's saying. When you actually see, like, look, the first shot where you could see like people for miles was absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'd love for people to try and check those old streams if you missed the show Rise and Grind earlier in the week when we were doing that. But yeah, that I just wanted to make sure I added that point in there, Glenn.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that you are enjoying those videos. And yeah, there's an extra. It's extra when we can see the people that he was impacting. Right? There's something around impact and humans' desires to make a positive impact in other people's lives. And so, listening to his speeches is amazing because he's a great orator. But being able to see the responses and the spirits and the actual souls, the actual people whose lives he was helping to free, right? That is a whole different experience. And speaking of whole different experiences, we're having one this morning, which is amazing. But speaking of whole different experiences, hey, I am a firm believer that the morning daily negative news is part of the detriment to society. So what we do here on hashtag Rise and Grind is we've got some good news, and that good news is brought to you by the one and only Mr. Ramon Reid. So I'm going to toss it over to him real quick. He's going to bring us some good news today here on hashtag Rise and Grind.
Hey everybody, good morning, and welcome to Good News, sponsored by the Rise and Grind Morning Planner. I just threw that in, Glenn. I couldn't help myself. We're so glad you all are with us today in our Good News segment. We've talked about the impact and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King's life has had on all of us. We've talked about time, tick-tock, it's so short. My name is Ramon, and so glad to bring good news to you today. We're going to talk today about how to boost your creativity. Creativity is pretty darn important. There's a new book out, Play Nice But Win. That book came out by Michael Dell, the founder of Dell Computer Technology Company, something like that. Real estate trends to understand and note in 2022. And our goal, as always, as we try to do, is make you smarter, make you laugh, or just warm your heart. If we do all three, there's a win. So let's dive into today's good news. One, how to boost your creativity. Sara Green. We now have 3 Saras that have been mentioned today. That's interesting. Curator, arts educator, producer, and author of You Are an Artist, Assignments to Spark Creation, has some tips to boost your creativity and, frankly, lift the creativity wall, she calls it. The creativity wall holding you back. So what are some things we can all do to be just a bit more creative? One, just remind yourself that creativity is inside of us all. Number 2, understand how creativity works in your brain. A lot of it is simply your mindset, how your mind works. Another thing you can do, take intentional breaks, not breaks that are forced upon you because mom, dad, honey. No, not those breaks, but intentional breaks that you're doing. And don't try to force yourself to work through it. That's important. Sometimes you're feeling a bit stuck. It's okay to say, let's wait, let's stop, let's pause. And when you feel rested, start by doing. So it's okay to take a quick nap. It's okay to rest during the day. In fact, it's good. Our next good news segment of the day, and don't forget, we want your comments, we want your shares, we want to know how you're enjoying and how you're feeling about Rise and Grind show. Share with others and comment so we can know how we're serving you. There's a new book out by Michael Dell, founder of Dell Computer. Many of you have those computers and laptops right on your desk. It's called Play Nice But Win, a CEO's journey from founder to leader. I've been honored to be with Michael Dell once or twice. The first time I was with him at CES, it was a disastrous experience. My fault, not his. The second time I was able to open an event for him, and that was pretty cool. But his book talks about this. How can we do well by doing good? Michael Dell is a billionaire extraordinaire, I would assume, and it's amazing how he's saying, let's do well Let's succeed. Let's thrive in life. Scott Simons talks about this quite a bit, but let's also do good. So that was really cool. Brand new book that he has out, which you all should check out. Last point here from our friends at Ramsey Solutions is real estate trends for 2022. Those in our Breakfast with Champions audience on Clubhouse, we have several people that talk about real estate quite a bit, and I've learned from them. But here's a few trends to consider. Inventory is low. Home prices are higher. Mortgage interest rates are really low. Online real estate services are gaining in popularity. And the last thing they say is that risky buying options are becoming more accessible. So that's some of the good news today that we're doing here on the brand new Rise and Grind show. And it's an honor to be here today and jump in and fill in for our amazing hillbilly from Virginia, Scott Simons.
Self-proclaimed. I like to say self-proclaimed hillbilly from Virginia, because we don't want any hillbillies from Virginia getting mad that we calling him a hillbilly from Virginia, or I don't even know. I don't know the politics of hillbilliness in Virginia, so we gotta be careful there. Self-proclaimed hillbilly from Virginia, Scott Simons. Ramon, thanks for bringing us the good news today, my man. You always find the most fascinating stories.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to do it. Take some research, and I have a great team that helps me do it as well. But you're right, Glenn. We don't want to have, can you imagine in the UK, hillbillies from Virginia picketing in front of Marvin's house, like in front of 007? That would be terrible. Anyways, let me just stop.
I can't even comment. Oh dear, Ramon, you killed me, honestly. Oh, look, I love the way Scott's actually developed his strap line there. I think we all need to figure out a strap line for ourselves to go after our names for sure. Absolutely.
You know, the thing that got me inside of your story is the bug about creativity. And let me just say this, Ramon, you are not just filling in. You are Ramon Ray coming in HOT, baby. Okay. You are coming in hot, giving the smiles and the info today. But yeah, the creativity. And so here's my question to you, even though you're not in a hot seat, Ramon, is how do you find your creativity? That's what I would love to know. How do you tap into your creativity?
I do think, Lolita, and I'd be curious, and we don't have only a few minutes, but we can debate it here. I think it's a God-given talent. And here's why I say this creativity, why I say this, Lolita. In the same way as I see Sara is very analytical, very technical, can be very structured, planning. I don't have that gift and trait. I think that's God-given. That's in our genes in some way. For me, though, I think creativity. I like to think outside the box. I like things that are not the same. So I think in some way, Lolita, God gives us all a bit of extra sauce that we can thrive and live better in this world. That's my 2 cents.
I disagree. That's what I'm here for.
Okay.
I think creativity is a practice. I actually think, I'm trying to remember what day this week Glenn was talking about. Maybe it was yesterday with the poem that it just came to him. I actually did a segment on this. I'll find it for you on the podcast. But you have to practice being open. I think all of us have read the book Big Magic here. I know I love it. I know Glenn loves it. You have to practice being open so that you have to practice holding that space so that when that inspiration comes, you know what to do. You can recognize it. You can write it down. You can lean into it. And when you're holding that space, it won't always be there. But I actually think that people sell themselves short. They say, I'm just not a creative person. And so they're never looking for that inspiration. They're never leaning into that inspiration. They're never believing in themselves that they can be creative. And, sometimes you go and it's like running. It's a terrible run. Sometimes you go to write something and it stinks. But you have to keep trying and building that space. And I think that you can become more of a catch point for like the creativity that's in the universe if you're trying, I think.
Sara, you
but some people are better than others naturally. You're right about that. But everyone can be creative.
Yeah, sure. Everyone can be creative, but I guess I meant that I think some people have a bit more than others. But you and I can have a debate. We can have a debate of the century. Is creativity born or not? We can have a fight on that, Sara.
By the way, some people are more creative than others. Like, I'm no Emily Dickinson, let's be real. But like, but I still think anyone can be creative. You're not creative or analytical.
Yes.
Well, I will say this. It is quite a shock this morning. Some of the things that have been happening here on the show this morning have been a little bit shocking, a little bit off the wall. And the fact that Sara McCord disagrees is just another shocker this morning. She's normally so incredibly agreeable in every sense of the word. And so with that said, I am super super excited to bring our musician to the table. One of the things we love to do here on hashtag Rise and Grind is explore the creative abilities of artists, musicians all around the world. Yesterday we had someone in from Italy, I believe it was, and I mean it's just amazing, all the different artists. And today we have the incredible Samantha Clemons. And Samantha Clemons is a soul, folk, and blues singer. She is a songwriter as well as a musician. She is launching Sound Society, which is a cross-platform live stream show in February, where on Sunday afternoons she'll be sharing acoustic music, chatting with friends and family, and trying out new cocktail recipes, which we're super excited to be able to explore that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I bring to you Miss Samantha Clemons.
Good morning, friends. My name is Samantha Clemons, and I'm really excited to be here to share some music with you. This first song is called No Room, and I hope it challenges you to leave no room for negativity in your life this year, especially from yourself. I hope you like it. And I've been digging up a lot of the dirt, and I had on you. Good God, there's so much work to do. But you ain't got no talking about loyalty, yeah, you ain't got no room for making no enemies, yeah, you ain't got no room asking for anything, and I ain't got no room up my sleeve for mercy. Yeah, mercy. And this is just the start. Yeah, I got the hand, I hold the cards, oh, yeah, to cut you down. Won't even make a sound. Yeah, but you ain't got no room talking about loyalty. Yeah, you ain't got no room for making no enemies. Yeah, you ain't got no room asking for I ain't got no room up my sleeve for mercy. Yeah, mercy. Yeah, mercy. Yeah, mercy.
Wow, Samantha Clemons, that was incredible. You are something special. I absolutely love that. Is that one of the songs that you wrote? Oh, I can't hear you, Samantha. Are you muted on your side? Oh my gosh. I still can't hear you. Can you guys hear her? No? Yeah, well, I'm glad we were able to hear your music, but we're not able to hear you right at the moment. Yeah, no bueno.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It's so weird.
That's okay. No problem. No problem. It's welcome to our day. I love it. But did you write that song?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was absolutely beautiful. I know we were all sitting over here jamming. My boy Marvin was jamming for sure. Marvin, what did you think about that beat?
Look, I thought it was absolutely amazing. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Samantha, which I'm so gutted I actually can't hear. But I'm going to say what I was going to say anyway. And honestly, incredible. I'm a huge Janelle Monáe fan as well, and I heard elements of that in your delivery. And I hate to compare one artist to another, but I feel I want to do it just to communicate the level of quality I thought was in the song. It was incredible. The arrangement was incredible. I really enjoyed it. And hopefully your sound kicks back in at some point, and I can actually have a conversation with you, because I would love to ask you a question.
Well, we can hear you over here just fine. I don't know what Marvin's doing over there. I think he's got a mute button in his left ear, and then he's got some sound in his right ear or something like that. I don't know what's happening today, but I agree with Marvin. It was absolutely fantastic. So talk to us real quick about this this project that you're releasing in February.
Yeah, it's called Sound Society, and I think this whole, COVID coming back, I've been kind of trying to wait it out before I get out and perform again. And I just thought this would be a good opportunity to share some stuff that I'm working on, connect with people. It's really hard right now with, the pandemic. So, I just thought this would be a great way to share some music, connect with friends and family, and have a good time.
Yeah, I think it sounds it sounds fascinating. It sounds like a great way to bring people together, which is what we're really talking about this week. How important it is that we bring people together, especially during this season. A lot of people are spending not as much time as they maybe would love to or used to with their loved ones. So I love that you're bringing people together in that way. I think that you're a really special human with an incredible gift. And I am curious, will you do us a huge favor and maybe come back in just a little bit and do one more song? Would that be okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, then we will see you then. Thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Samantha Clemons. Make sure you look her up. You can follow her, obviously, on Instagram and all the different places. I just went straight into Google and put in Samantha Clemons, Samantha Clemons Sound Society. Boom, she popped up everywhere. Incredible images and incredible socials. So make sure you're following her over there. And she's just an incredible human. Another incredible human that we have with us today is Miss Sara Noll Wilson. And Sara Noll Wilson is an executive coach and leadership development consultant who has been freeing elephants. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. She has been freeing elephants for 15 years. And Sara works with leaders to develop more powerful partnerships and helps teams spot patterns that are keeping them from higher performance. She is an in-demand keynote speaker. She leads workshops and team retreats for leaders and HR professionals. And prior to all of that, Sara worked in management as the talent development leader for an insurance company, giving her firsthand insight into the challenges of corporate leadership. With several coaching certifications and a master's in leadership development from Drake University, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Miss Sara Noll Wilson. Well, Sara, how are you today?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am super excited to be here.
Well, we are super excited to have you, and you have to bear with us just a little bit. We've had some interesting challenges this morning, some interesting challenges with our programming, but that is what live programming is, and challenges are just a part of it, right? Like, this is the world you live in, is the world of people having challenges.
Absolutely. And if, we have a little dance of like when technology issues happen, we just start singing the technology song, because it's inevitable and we can fight it or we can just go with it and accept that that's the world we're in and do the best we can.
Okay, I'm ready for it right now. Let's do it. Come on. We're going to do the technology song.
So it's technology, I'm not a singer, but like we do a little shimmy with it when it happens because it's inevitable.
I like it. The technology shimmy and dance. It's inevitable. Taking something that's maybe a little frustrating and turning it into something positive and shifting that energy. Right now, listen. I honestly did not know that. I didn't know that you could get a master's in leadership. I didn't know that. I thought you had to get a master's in architecture or a master's in psychology, but I didn't know you could actually master in leadership. I've always considered myself a decent leader. So talk to me about that. What was that experience like for you? And what are maybe some of the things that you learned that you could drop on us, those that want to be great leaders, but we don't have the time to go to school and get a master's in it? Maybe you could share with us a couple key takeaways that make great leaders.
That's such a full question, but when we think about leadership, which is why I think we have an epidemic of toxic workplaces, is because we promote people who don't necessarily have the skills, the understanding, and science. There's an art and a science to leadership. And for me, part of the reason why I explored this Master of Leadership Development was because I had worked in the corporate world for a while, and I became really interested about the dynamic of power and how it was often misused, and how could we use it to, show up more effectively, not just for profits, not just for bottom line, but for the people who are in our organizations as well. So actually, it was in my master's program that I got introduced to a couple of key concepts that planted the seed of all of this work we're doing to help people overcome their avoidance of conflict and difficult conversations. And so one is this idea of adaptive leadership, right? That just kind of like we were talking about adapting in the moment, but how do we create organizations that not only can survive navigating complexity and change and uncertainty, but how do we create organizations that can thrive in those moments? And one of the characteristics of a highly adaptive culture is one where elephants can be talked about. And growing up in the Midwest, so just full disclosure, right? As a white woman in the Midwest, I was very much raised with the Midwest nice mentality, which I lovingly would say is more like violent politeness, right? It's we're gonna smile at you, but we're gonna seethe behind our smile. I'm gonna tell everyone but you, right? If I have an issue with you. And so I had never experienced what it looked like to have really truly connected relationships that were able to be candid and curious and compassionate. Right. And so that's what started my mission. But I think the biggest lesson from leadership is if you don't truly, genuinely care about the people you serve, then I don't think you should be in a position of power.
Boom. Can I get an amen on that? I come from the auto industry, Sara, and it's very common in the industry that the top performer gets the promotion, right? And that doesn't mean that they're leaders, that they have nobody even likes them. They just happen to be the top performer, so now they get the promotion. And that's been happening for decades and decades and decades and decades. And it's really created some volatile environments in the auto industry, which is something we're trying to eradicate. Now, you wrote this book, Don't Feed the Elephants, and you really expand on this idiom, something that you were just touching on a little bit right there, as you talked about, where an environment where we can talk about the elephant, right? The elephant in the room. And so is this concept something that you use in your workshops and teams, or is this something that you had just developed for the book? How did you become so intimate with this metaphor?
Yeah, well, first, let's talk about the people who are always promoted. It's the brilliant jerks, right? It's the people who are technically proficient, but they don't necessarily know, right? It's, and again, and then what happens is that creates a pattern of low psychological safety, right? We're not supporting people as their whole selves. We're not making it safe for them to be who they are. And that's still incredibly pervasive today, right? Or what they're rewarded on is only on output and not necessarily like it's on the what, not on the how. Literally since 2008, both from my personal experience I lovingly say I'm a reformed avoider. So I wrote this book as a love letter for my fellow avoiders who aren't sure how to show up, but they need to, right? They need to not only for themselves, but they need to for other people, and they need to for our community. Again, working in an environment where we just avoided talking about hard stuff sometimes. And so I think that I've had a bit of an obsession of trying to figure out how do we help those of us who maybe weren't raised in a family where this was normalized, weren't part of a culture where this is, again, normalized, hadn't experienced trauma related to speaking up or speaking out. There's a whole host of reasons why people avoid engaging in uncomfortable conversations, right? Culturally, it may not be accepted. It may be because of trauma they experience. But the other reason is, one thing that's a unique thing that I want to call out is sometimes we avoid having uncomfortable conversations because we're trying to protect power. Right? Because I want to hold on to what I have. And if I engage in this, right, that might open that up. So this has been a part of my journey for over a decade now. And I felt like it was finally ripe enough to put out into the world in a meaningful way. And then, halfway through writing it, the pandemic happened. And, obviously like all the other huge shifts that happened in our world. And it made me realize that if we can't have conversations about the small stuff, how the heck are we going to have conversations about the big stuff?
So true. So true. When the pandemic first hit, in the middle of you wanting to do this book, did you do the dance? Did you do the, okay, it's just a pandemic. It's just a pandemic. We're going to be okay. No pandemic.
No, well, I was naive like everyone else, thinking it would only last 2 weeks and not 2 years.
Right.
And wasn't prepared for the impact that it would have on us collectively as a culture, but also, you mentioned earlier, I loved what you were saying about just like, there's a struggle of connection right now. And one of the things we're seeing in our work and what I'm observing professionally and personally is there is this kind of, it's like we're floating away from each other. The erosion that is happening in relationships is happening at a faster rate, and we're not coming back together because maybe we physically can't be, because we're trying to protect ourselves or whatever the situation might be. But there's a lot of, sometimes relationships can be tarnished in a single moment, right? There are egregious things, right? Disrespect, all of that can ruin a relationship out of the gate. But a lot of times the erosion happens in these little moments that we don't work to heal, right? Or repair. And then it just float away from each other until it might be too late.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to describe it, because it doesn't, not everything, it's just like this whole thing. It hasn't happened overnight. It's a little, a little piece, a little piece, little piece,
Yeah.
little piece, little piece over time. And it bends and it bends and it bends and it bends and it bends. And we hope that we recognize it before it breaks. That's for sure. So I love that you are working on letting people have those conversations. And I got to tell you, in the back channel right now, the whole crew here on Rise and Grind they're like itching to get at you and talk to you more about this. And so I'm going to toss you over to them, but I want you to finish that thought that you had right there. I'm going to toss you over to them in the process. How's that sound?
Yeah, I love that, because I want to echo, you said it so beautifully, right? Like that it happens over and over and over and over. And what we have to realize is that it may not be one conversation. I think sometimes we're looking for quick resolutions for what might be complicated situations. And it may not be fixed in one conversation. It certainly wasn't broken in one conversation. And so how do we allow the space to continue to keep engaging and re-engaging, right? So we can move closer to each other.
Hey, Sara, welcome and thanks for being here. When you can step into the fire together and both come out stronger, reading from your website, that is such a powerful statement, something I have a problem with because I want to avoid conflict. Other people in my life want to fight for conflict. Yeah. You're saying there's a middle way. Can you briefly unpack that and help us understand why that's so important, please?
Well, fellow, avoider to avoider, I see you and I'm with you and happy to support you on this journey. I mean, one of the traps people fall into is that they think that there's something wrong if the conversation is uncomfortable, or they think something's wrong if they feel scared or nervous. And I would argue that if I care about you, that there is a risk to any kind of deeper connection, any kind of conversation about disagreement, and that risk isn't going to be comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable in every situation with the people I love. So to sort of set aside and go, it may not be easy, but it can be easier. And when we are stepping into these conversations, whether they're about disagreements or value conflicts or setting boundaries, right? Or talking about ways that maybe we've harmed each other or have been harmed, there's probably going to be some emotional heat. I mean, well, there will be emotional heat, because if there's an elephant in the room, it means we're avoiding something, which means the heat is turned up. And so how do we step into that and know that it might not be comfortable? It certainly isn't going to be perfect, but if we're committed to each other, then let's do it together so that we can come out of it better.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you for the question.
Sarah, it's great to meet you. I'm going to keep my questions super quick because I know we push for time. I love that you said leaders don't only make or break organizations, but make or break people. That was so powerful and really resonated with me, because before setting up Volume 2, I used to be in an organization where I was responsible for transformation, which was basically just a flashy word for saying picking up the pieces when all of the leaders make bad decisions, which leaves employees in tears, basically. So I would love for you to seriously, that's what happened. I would love to ask you a very quick question. When you say get curious instead of furious, I mean, what would be some takeaways for that? Because I know there's going to be lots of leaders listening in. Some of the key things that they can do. I mean, for me, it's about the balance between EQ and IQ, but I'd love to get your take on it.
Yeah, and then you can add in CIQ, right? Your conversational intelligence.
Yeah.
And so well, I mean, and I know, Lolita, as I've been looking at your work, you're all about that purposeful pause, right? And getting curious, so we call it the curiosity first approach, is getting curious with yourself. What is it about the situation? Is this a preference or is this a performance issue? Because a lot of times we confuse the two. What values of mine, right, are not being honored, or what need do I have? But if I were to say, if there's one question that I could have anyone who's in a position of power and authority be thinking about, it's not looking at all the ways they aren't doing something, right? It's not saying to yourself, well, I would never create an unsafe environment. Well, I would never do that. But to with yourself to say, but when am I not? How might I not be, right? What might I be doing to create a culture that isn't as safe as I would hope, right? What do I do that creates distrust? When am I showing up in a way that, is distrustful? And sometimes we're quick to look at the story of ourselves, but we don't always look at the whole story. And that ability to not just say, it's like example, people say, oh, I'm really self-aware. You're like, well, that's not a trait, it's a practice, right? And part of that practice isn't just looking at what are you doing well, it's also being willing to go and own your role of what have I done to contribute to that. And that's a muscle that I don't often see in as many people in positions of power and authority as I would like to.
I think that's super powerful. You are a wealth and a breadth of knowledge, and we don't get enough time with you here on this particular show, but I'm hoping that maybe you could hang out and chat with us over on Clubhouse. Are you on Clubhouse?
Yeah, I am. I will be this morning with people. So I'll hang out for sure. I'd love to.
Beautiful. Well, we'll be over in Clubhouse. We can talk about this a little bit more. Until then, though, I want people to go out and grab a copy of Don't Feed the Elephants, Overcoming the Art of Avoidance to Build Powerful Partnerships. This is how you can capture Sara Noll. You can capture her in a bottle, right? You can own your own little piece. So you can capture her, get as much time with her as you possibly want. And how else can they connect with you, Sara? Obviously, everybody needs to go out and grab your book, but how else can they connect with you? What's the best way?
I would love, connect with me on any social media platform. I work to be really accessible, and especially if people are dealing with challenges, they can also check us out at our website, saranollwilson.com. And would love to, we want to make the workplace work better for humans, right? And so definitely check us out on social media, and don't be afraid to send a DM and connect on a personal way.
That's what's up. I love it. Don't be afraid to send a DM. Like, connect for real. Let's connect for real. Sara, thank you so much for being here on #Rise and Grind. We'll see you in just a little bit over on Clubhouse. Everybody, go grab a copy. Don't Feed the Elephants by Sara Noll Wilson. You gotta go grab you one. We still got plenty of show left. We're gonna be back with Samantha Clemons. She's gonna do some more music for us here shortly, and we're gonna continue the discussions that we're having today around Better Together and bringing people together and the importance of that. All right, so stay right where you're at. We'll be right back. This is Breakfast with Champions, Millionaire Breakfast Club, your opportunity to get a seat at the table. And we got to tell you, we're super excited about the new Morning 5 Planner. If you've been looking for community, you've been looking to connect with like-minded and like-hearted people that like to rise and write their gratitudes and their goals, people that are interested in evolving into the best versions of themselves that they can possibly be, then the Morning 5 Planner is for you. That's right. You can go to themorning5planner.com and get you one today. Uh-oh. Alexander, I got you, but then I lost you. There he is.
I was like, I see me.
Right, I see you.
What is up? Alexander Gonzalez coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky, where the elephants stomp, but we don't feed them here today. As we're watching here straight on the technical difficulties and everything else work through, we're seeing firsthand how to handle uncomfortable situations and still rolling with the punches. Sometimes you just gotta dance during technical difficulties. One of the things that's been most impactful that we're seeing across socials, I might be stretching there with the seeing, but is that sometimes you just gotta hold hands and walk in the fire together. It may not be easy, but we can make it easier. How impactful. And one of the very first comments that I saw earlier today, it's so funny because I had no idea who the guest was, and it was on #Rise and Grind. It was Sara Noll Wilson who said, "I'm not an early riser, but I can be when there's a chance for meaningful conversation with Glenn Lundy and his amazing crew at #Rise and Grind." So even these prolific authors who are making life-changing books to make sure that you're not feeding the elephants in your life, acknowledge that meaningful conversation early in the morning with people like Glenn Lundy, Lolita Walker, Ramon, Sara, I'm trying to remember everyone's name, Marvin, I don't know what's going on. Other than the fact that it's cold/hot here in Kentucky, it's freezing out there, I'm really hot in here. And there's lots of dancing going on today because in spite of the elephants that pop into our lives, we make sure not to feed them, but to rather shake our booty with them. What is up, y'all? How y'all doing today?
Where are you, Alexander?
I
am in Louisville, Kentucky, at the Drury Inn and Suites. I've only stayed at the Drury Inn and Suites in Kentucky. Is that a Kentucky brand? But it's funny because I would never name anything Drury, but that's where I'm at, and it's a Drury day.
What are you doing? What are you doing in Kentucky?
So my company is doing a corporate event. It's the largest keto conference in the world. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching currently virtually, and a few of us were selected to come out here and actually be at corporate headquarters while it's all going on. So there's about 8 of us here, and so I might get to pop on stage. We'll see what happens.
I love how you just drop that in. You're like, I'm just at a conference with thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching. You know, just a Thursday for Alexander Gonzalez. We love it. We love to see it.
You know how we do us conference people. You know what it is I speak it until it happens. You know, I don't think they're going to pull me up on that stage, but I'm going to keep saying it. When I talk to the CEO, I let him know, hey, I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. You want to put me on camera, give me the topic, I got you.
Alexander, one thing I like about you is you seem to come to life at the Rise and Grind community and audience. You do it so freaking well. Talk about that briefly. Like, it seems like when you see the comments, when you see people engaging with all, it's like Alexander comes even more to life than he already is, which I don't know if it's possible, but you get what I'm trying to say. Talk about that, Alexander.
Yeah, you know, that's a really great question, Ramon. The thing is that we get the privilege every single day to share our expertise, share our knowledge, share our words with an incredible incredible community of human beings that are literally doing the same thing in their own circles. They're sharing their knowledge, they're sharing their words, they're sharing their power. And so when we get to connect with them, we get to hear their comments, we get to see that they're engaging. They're not just listening, but they're actively listening. They're getting key takeaways and they're taking with them. Case in point, I remember the first time I heard Joseph McClendon III talk about whenever you're feeling down, stop and shake your booty. Just stop. You can't help but smile when you're shaking your booty. Do it right now when you're sitting down, right? Well, I went ahead and posted about that. I talk about that. Joseph McClendon III all the time says that my goal on this earth is to impart all the knowledge I have and then elicit you to go share that knowledge. And so when I'm seeing knowledge being shared from Glenn, from Sarah, from you, Ramon, from Lolita, from Marvin, from Scott, from all the incredible contributors to what Breakfast with Champions have done and created, it excites me because it means that our words are not falling upon deaf ears, but rather they're falling upon fertile soil and people are planting the seeds. They're plowing those fields because guess ready, 2022, y'all, harvest is coming!
Harvest is coming. I absolutely love it. Listen, Alexander, when you walk in the room, what I love about you is that you're able to look around, read the room, and jump right in. It's about, we were talking earlier today about leaving our footprints in the sand because tomorrow's not promised and all we have is today. You do an amazing job of that. So as you bring everybody together with their comments, with their shares, and then with your words, it's just so powerful. So all of you all who don't yet know Alexander, go ahead and tap in. He's on LinkedIn, he's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, he's on Clubhouse. Make sure you get into it. When you show up on that stage at the conference where you are, right? Today and tomorrow, knock them dead. Make sure you take some pictures if you want to see it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Knock them dead, knock them dead. And Alexander, real quick, from a social standpoint, with the technical difficulties that we've had today, those that are tuning in over on Clubhouse, they could probably do something on Twitter, right? Can't they like send out a hashtag Rise and Grind on Twitter, or maybe link to the Clubhouse room, or is there anything that they could do to stay active and engaged?
Yeah, that's a great comment. So there's two ways. If this ever happens in the future, guys, if you go to hashtag Rise and Grind and you make a comment on Twitter, I can find you. But also, if you share the room on Clubhouse, notice that when you share the room on Clubhouse, you can leave a comment on why you're sharing it. On days like this, let's overshare the room on Clubhouse, writing our favorite quotes, our favorite comments. So it does two things. Number one, we're sharing the room on Clubhouse. We're getting more ears, more seats to this table. And number two, over on Twitter, it allows me a space that I can go to one place and shout all of you beautifully people out. Because I promise you, everyone wants to hear your name. I miss saying Dr. Jamesia. I miss saying Christina Howard. I miss saying Monica Ritchie. I miss saying Dora Maria. I miss saying all these incredible human beings that are consistent at commenting. Let's go over and share on Clubhouse and make your comments there, and then use hashtag Rise and Grind on Twitter. And I got you, boo. Let's not feed the elephants.
I love it, Alexander. Good luck out there on stage. I know you're going to kill it on stage there in Louisville in front of thousands of people. Continue to love the way that you love, and thanks for being here with us on hashtag Rise and Grind. You, sir, are the man. With that said, I promised you we'd be bringing back our incredible musical guest, Miss Samantha Clemons, and we're going to do that right now. Check this out.
All right, so this next one I'm really excited to share with you. I wrote it for you today. It's called Rise, and I hope it leaves you feeling empowered and encouraged. A little Breakfast with Champions exclusive. You will be the first ones to hear it, so here you go. The sun's on its way up where you. Another day has come. What you gonna do? Let it pass you by. One more time. All those ones are adding up to the rest of your life. So rise and shine. Somebody's waiting on your life. know you're falling a time or two, taking a beating, battered and bruised. But don't you forget that you got a gift, and it's worth giving again and again and again and again. So rise and shine. Somebody's waiting on your life. Rise and grind up that mountain and over the other side. Rise, baby, rise. It ain't easy, but that's alright. Rise. Rise. The sun's on its way up where you. Thanks.
Wow, 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 wow. That's the only thing I know how to say.
Oh my goodness. That was so beautiful. And here's why I was like, I have to ask you a question, because I went to your bio on Clubhouse while you were playing, and the first thing I see is Inc. 2021's Female Founders 100. And I was looking at all of your work accolades, and I was like, wait, are there two talented and also your name slightly different? You know, Samantha's on stage, and you're the same woman. This crazy, brilliant musical artist is also this crazy business powerhouse. And I would love to ask you how you're leaning into both, because I think that's super compelling, especially as we talk about impact and creativity today. What does that look like for you to be this powerful founder and writing this music? I mean, talk to me about everything, about the journey, about the time management. I want all the secrets. Let's go.
You know, I don't know that there's necessarily a secret. There's like this meme going around, oh gosh, and I'm blanking on her name, but she is basically saying that like she doesn't really know what she's doing as she's doing it. She just kind of does the best that she can, and you know, kind of figures it out along the way. But I think this kind of ties back into why I decided to launch Sound Society, because my personality can kind of feel segmented or, you know, bifurcated. But I'm a whole person, and I have different facets to me. And I think that being authentic with that and sharing that and not trying to put this piece of myself over here and away from this other half is a way for me to show up authentically and lean into what I was made for, and you know, kind of melding those two things together. So with Sound Society, I'll be sharing my music, but also you know, anecdotes about my life, and maybe I can share a couple of tips. Again, I don't know that I necessarily have
I love
them,
that. And I just want to take a moment, though, to honor your level of accomplishment, because I think we're all multifaceted. But the fact that you're at the top in all of these different spaces is extraordinary. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm very, very nearly speechless. I just want to let you know that. And I hope right now, as we are talking, Glenn is on the phone to Tony with the keys, making something happen so we can actually get that song like ready and play it in Breakfast with Champions on a regular basis, because honestly, the level of your talent is incredible. Sarah, I love the fact Sarah tapped into the question I was going to ask you when I couldn't hear you, which is in my mind, I just had CEO to singer. Singer to CEO, like the level of your talent is incredible. One thing I would love to do is just I'd love to get a bit more insight into your vision. You know what I mean? Like, because you've mentioned Sound Society, and I think that's an incredible concept. I'd love to know, what is the end game for you in terms of, where you see that going?
Yeah, I don't know that I can see the end. I think it really just started as a way for me to pursue my music. I feel like I started my utility contracting firm in 2016, and I feel like that has really, it has a really good foundation. And so I just want to be able to pivot some of my energy back to my music, which is my first love. And this just seemed like a really good way to do that. I think in the end, I really just want to offer a space for people to connect again. I feel like a lot of the traditional community spaces and structures that we have traditionally had to connect with one another, they've been undermined by COVID, by the political climate. And I think being intentional about building new ways for us to come together and connect is really important. And I think art is one of the few ways that we have left to come together, no judgment, and connect and enjoy each other's company.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. You are an incredibly special human. That is super clear in just a few moments of getting to know you. I can tell your parents, I don't know what your relationship is with your parents or was with your parents, but they did something right, because you're a very, very, very special human. And what a gift to be able to hear that song this morning. Can I get that song somewhere? Is that song recorded somewhere? Is it, you just wrote it today?
I wrote it for this performance today. I wrote it a couple days ago. So it's not recorded yet, but it is on the list of things to do.
Gosh, it was so good. I love it. I have the video. I'm going to hoard the video. I'm going to keep that to myself. But thank you so much for being here on #Rise and Grind. We're going to be hanging out over in Clubhouse and chatting some more. If you want to hang out, we'd love to get to know you more. But thank you so much for being on our show. How can everyone connect with you on social?
Most of my socials are at Little Red Fender. On Facebook, it is just Samantha Clemons Music. Yeah, come on over. I'd love to connect with you. Thank you guys so much for having me and for all of your kind words. This has been such a treat.
Well, thank you. You're absolutely amazing. Thanks for being here. And another amazing superhuman that we have with us today is the one and only Kim Walsh Phillips, which if you don't know her yet, you're about to. And she says that she has a game that she wants to play with some of our hosts. So I'm going to toss Kim straight into the hot seat over with the crew.
Woo! So good. No good. And I think we have a quick shout out before we get started with the quiz, perhaps.
Yeah, let's just, I want to welcome Jason Lee on stage into the Clubhouse room. We're having some technical difficulties this morning, so you can't see us live on other platforms, but it's good to see you here. I love when our West Coast friends jump in. So thank you for that, Kim. I know it's super early.
Yeah, Jason
So
Lee,
good. All right, so he's here.
What's up, Jason?
Yeah, Jason. So good. And he's here in time to play along with this quiz. Okay, so here we go. I am going to say a problem that a brand has solved. So I'm going to say the problem, and you guys are going to guess the brand. Are you ready? Okay, cool. And there's a nice little delay, so this should get super awkward, and I love those moments. Okay, here we go. Number 1, dirty cabs that are expensive and hard to find.
Uber.
Transportation.
Yes. Next one. No more trips to the video store.
Netflix. Convenience.
Yes. Okay.
Ramon's going to win this game. It's not fair that you did this on Ramon's day.
Instantly look great in your clothes.
Trunk with the men's subscription service. Trunk.
Spanx.
That could be one. Yes, Spanx. 100%.
I got one.
Yes, Sarah, you got a point on that one. Next one. Instant access to answers.
Google.
Yes.
Yahoo,
All right, so
any
we're
of
2
those.
for 2 now. Let's see. This is a hard one. Eliminate having to spend the average of $28,000 a year to go to college.
Udemy.
Mastermind.
Yeah, Udacity. It's actually a college platform that only charges $199 a month, and apparently it's profitable enough that the company has $1 billion valuation. Now, let me bring it back to you. If you're watching or listening right now, you know that the most successful companies that are out there focus on the problem that they solve, not on what they do. The challenge is that most businesses do the complete opposite. They focus on what they do, their process, and their benefit. And the reality is none of us woke up today dreaming about your process. Ugh. The other thing that successful brands don't do is they don't focus on what's wrong with us. Like Sarah Blakely did not ever make the marketing campaign for Spanx. Hey, you ate way too many cookies this holiday season, so here's something to fix all of that. No. They simply say, look great instantly in your clothes, right? They're solving a problem without making you feel bad that you had the problem in the first place. So if you know our culture, if you focus on what's wrong with people, they're not going to pay attention. Instead, what is the problem that your target market has, right? What do they want? Like if you're a financial advisor, your clients want to retire and have enough money to keep their lifestyle going than when they were working. Parenting coach, you want to raise successful and kind children. You have a marketing agency, your clients want more clients, right? You're an estate attorney, your clients want to ensure their family is taken care of after they are gone. So whatever it is, here's how you do it. You're going to figure out the one thing your target market wants. What do they want? And then your offer is super simple. You simply add the words how to in front of whatever they want. So that financial advisor, their big offer could be how to retire with enough money to keep the life going that you have now. Parenting coach, how to raise successful, happy kids. Marketing agency, how to get more clients. An estate attorney, how to ensure your family is taken care of after you're gone. Doing this allows you to become the go-to person, the trusted authority, and it eliminates your competition and also allows you to have the cookie because Spanx has got your back, literally.
So good. So good.
Love that, Kim.
You know what was so good about him?
Go ahead, Lolita.
I think, well, anyway, so what was so good about that is that you added the how to. And sometimes it's the how to, no matter how you frame it, that makes people be like, oh, I need to know that. I'm going to pull some of that energy right to me. It's like going to be a step by step. I want in. So thank you for adding that how to. Really good. Look, I have it right on my paper. Very nice. Thank you, Kim.
You're so welcome. It's a pleasure being with you each week as always. And I promise I do not bring with me the Thursday technical issues. We will one Thursday. It will be the smoothest of all time. It will become our #1 rated show, week of the day of the week. People will be like, we're going to tune in Thursday with popcorn in hand to see just what happens next.
I love it, Kim, and I love you. Thank you for joining us in here. Literally, Spanx has got your back. I love that. You're so
literally.
All right, Kim, we'll see you again next week. Thanks so much for being here. Wow. Let's just say wow. Hey, this has been a fun show, but you know what? It's much more fun to have these to have these challenges together. Just so you know, I used to run through this gambit all by myself. And I get to do it with you guys. So everything's better together. I'm just saying.
I was going to say, you know, after all that I've seen in the last sort of few weeks, I'm thinking, you know, Glenn, you should be looking more like sort of, I don't know, George Clooney or I don't know, Morgan Freeman with a totally grey hair. all the different problems and twists and turns. But
He's
listen,
calling you old. He's calling you a dinosaur. He's saying that's why the tech isn't working for you, Glenn. Just so you know. Ramon, I want to ask you how your first full show was. What'd you think?
It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. It's been to see the full production like this, even though I'm on behind the scenes for full 2 hours. You guys are just amazing people, and I've been honored to be here. Again, shout out to Scott Simons, which I have to do. This is not an easy job, and I think for those who don't understand what it's like for Glenn to produce it, to be witty, to be on the spot, to pour into our host and guest, you all do an amazing job, and I'm honored to be here, part of the team in this particular role today. And listen, amazing Rise and Grind on Thursday. So thank you all for having me.
We're also bringing you back anytime Kim Walsh Phillips plays Name That Brand, because I was like, Ramon is going to slay this. I knew it. Absolutely knew it. By the way, I actually think I did beat you, though, because I got Spanx and everyone else we tied. So just if anyone was keeping score, I think I won. But it's just, just if you're keeping score, that's all.
I'll let you feel better, Sarah. If you feel better like that, you can tell, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just saying, we tied on all the rest, and I got the one you didn't. I think that means I won. Marvin, you lose me a lot. Do you think that what does that feel like? Can you commiserate with Ramon?
I can neither confirm nor deny who the winner of the competition was.
And Lolita's just silent, smiling. That's all she's doing. She's just smiling. That's not fair, Lolita.
She knows.
Rap. I can't get a word in. I'm like, let's head to Clubhouse. I got some questions and some facts.
I love it. Let's head to Clubhouse for some Q&A. Yes, we're going to head over to Clubhouse right now. If you're watching this on the recording, we have a Breakfast with Champions room on Clubhouse Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. till 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays from 6 to 10, and Sundays at 1:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate your grace and understanding as we maneuver our way through live programming and all of the hiccups that can sometimes come with that. So we're going to head over to Clubhouse now and hang out over there. Thanks for being with us on this incredible episode of #Rise and Grind.